Hi, I'm Angie, and you're watching Dontae's Boxing Nation.
Dontae's Boxing Nation, what's going on, guys? You know, I usually say it's going down like a plane crash. But man, oh man, it's going down like a sinking ship over there at Dazn right now, ain't it? I think Dazn is starting to think they may have made a mistake by guaranteeing Canelo Alvarez so much money, without strongly emphasizing that Canelo Alvarez would have to fight the opponents that they choose for him. Now, clearly, Dazn has some type of power because they didn't approve the Yildirim fight. And they did approve a Caleb Smith fight or a Billy Joe Saunders fight, but they said because these weren't considered premium opponents, they didn't feel the need to pay Canelo Alvarez the $35 million that he was supposed to be guaranteed. So I guess there was some type of stipulation in the contract. But that's why it's going to be interesting to see how this lawsuit plays out if it goes that far. And the reason why I say if it goes that far, because usually situations like this, they settle before it even goes to the courtroom. Now, before I go deeper talking about the level of opposition and Dazn not approving Canelo Alvarez's opponents when it comes to paying him his full $35 million, I want to get into Oscar De La Hoya's reaction to the lawsuit and what he had to say about it. Now, it may surprise some people that Oscar, he had nothing bad to say about Canelo Alvarez. In fact, he blamed all of this on Dazn, and I'll explain why he did that after I quote what he said. So Oscar, he said, "In my mind, Canelo is willing to fight anyone. Obviously, the way he's proved it many times in his career. He's willing to fight Billy Joe Saunders. He's willing to fight Caleb Smith. My frustration is the obligation that Dazn has to its fans and to Canelo," end quote. Now, the way Oscar was just talking right there, you would assume that he was suing Dazn right along with Canelo Alvarez. But that's not the case, because Canelo Alvarez is suing Golden Boy, which is Oscar De La Hoya, along with Dazn. So the reason why you have Oscar De La Hoya talking all mushy about Canelo Alvarez while trying to throw this all on Dazn, he's trying to save himself. He's like, hey, Canelo, spare me, man. Why don't you exclude us from the lawsuit? We got your back. I told you guys, man, Canelo, he's the one that dictates everything that's going on when it comes to Golden Boy, when it comes to Dazn. If Canelo cannot have it his own way, he's going to pitch a bitch. You notice whenever Oscar De La Hoya talks about Canelo Alvarez, he has a complete different energy than he did when he was talking about Ryan Garcia. When he was talking about Ryan Garcia, he was telling the whole public what he thought about him. He was comparing him to other fighters. He was basically saying that, you know, Virgil Ortiz, he's the real deal, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, it's a complete different energy. Because he knows when you say something bad about Canelo, Canelo ain't having it. So Oscar is desperately trying to get on Canelo's good side by saying the things that, of course, Canelo wants to hear. Oh, Canelo is willing to fight anybody. I mean, he showed it in his career. It's so ironic he says that because, once again, Canelo Alvarez, he just said when he was talking about the lawsuit, one of the first things he said was, "I'm not afraid to fight anyone in the ring." That was his message to Dazn and to Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy. Because there would be no reason for him to say that if he wasn't responding to people that thought that way. Why would you volunteer information and just say, hey, by the way, I'm not afraid to fight anyone in the ring? You're saying that because you know that's what they think about you. Because Dazn has told you that Caleb Smith, Billy Joe Saunders, yeah, those are good opponents. We approve those opponents. You can fight them. But they're not on the level of you getting $35 million for the fight. They're not premium opponents, as Dazn put it. Now, let me say this when it comes to what's considered a premium opponent for Canelo Alvarez. See, guys, you have to understand, when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, the bar has been set so low that whenever he's fighting someone other than Rocky Fielding or Beefy, Liam Smith, or Yildirim, you're automatically going to say, oh, that's a good opponent, because you're comparing him to the lowest of the low. So yeah, so if he gets in the ring with Caleb Smith or Billy Joe Saunders, those are very good opponents. Those are very good opponents for Canelo Alvarez, considering who he's usually in the ring with. And those are good wins on his resume. But there's a difference from a really good opponent and a super fight. And a super fight is, I believe, what Dazn is referring to when they say we want you to fight a premium type of opponent. Just for example, Errol Spence versus Lamont Peterson, that's a good fight. But Errol Spence versus Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, Terrence Crawford, Manny Pacquiao, those are what you would call premier fights. Those are what you would call premium opponents. So when it comes to Canelo Alvarez, his premium opponents would be a third fight with Gennady Golovkin. It would be against Jamal Charlo. It would be against a Demetrius Andrade. It would be against a David Benavidez, because these are the type of fights that would do huge numbers on DAZN. There's a reason why DAZN is now putting their foot down, because they learned after Canelo fought Kovalev, they weren't making any money. In fact, they were losing money. Only 600,000 fans tuned in to watch Canelo versus Kovalev in the United States, when the average PBC card on Showtime averages over 1 million fans tuning in to watch the fight. And if you want to sit over here and say, oh, well, that's more of a free fight, et cetera, that's not true. Because with DAZN, if you pay for the whole year, it's actually less than $10 a month. That's actually less than what Showtime is. So that's not an excuse. But even if DAZN was more than Showtime, with Canelo Alvarez's fan base, he should easily be able to pull in 1 million fans to watch his fights, right? Even if they had to pay the $19.99 just for that month. But they're not tuning in because that's not a fight they wanted to see Canelo in. And DAZN learned that when they lost money allowing Canelo Alvarez to fight against Kovalev. Now they're like, whoa, Canelo, you're not going to do that again. We keep letting you fight guys like this, we're going to end up going out of business, trying to pay you for fights that people don't want to watch. And it's so funny because a lot of these Canelo Alvarez fans, the way they're defending Canelo now is they're trying to say, oh, well, Floyd, he's just doing everything that Floyd did, which comparing Canelo Alvarez to Floyd Mayweather, it makes Canelo look 10 times worse. First of all, when Floyd Mayweather was with Showtime, Showtime was actually making more money. Since Canelo has been with DAZN, DAZN has been making less money. And Showtime never complained about Floyd Mayweather's level of opposition. You know why? Because Floyd Mayweather, he was always fighting guys coming off of their biggest wins. He was fighting against guys who were considered pound for pound some of the best in the world. He was fighting fighters like Canelo Alvarez, who was 15, 20 pounds bigger than him, 14 years younger than him, a unified, undefeated champion at a higher weight class. He was fighting Manny Pacquiao, who was considered pound for pound #2 in the world when Floyd Mayweather beat him. And let's not even talk about what Floyd Mayweather did when he was with HBO, his whole career, who he fought, compared to Canelo, but we're gonna get into that in another video. So once again, the question is, if Canelo is doing the same things that Floyd Mayweather is doing, why is he now suing DAZN? Because DAZN is complaining about his level of opposition. Why is he now suing Oscar De La Hoya? Because Oscar De La Hoya was another one that was saying Canelo Alvarez needs to fight Jamal Charlo and Demetrius Andrade to be considered great. Now Canelo is saying to Oscar and DAZN, I'm not afraid to fight anybody in the ring. Why is Canelo having these type of conversations with people that's on his team? That don't sound like no Mayweather situation. I got a lot more to say about this, but I gotta wrap this video up and take care of some more business. That's all I got for now, guys. I'm on to the next one. Fellas, I've got some great news for you. If you've lost your hair or have a receding hairline, the time has come when you can finally get your hairline back through a process called scalp micropigmentation. So here's how it works. It's a hair tattoo that replicates the look of your hair follicles when you have fully shaved it down. Basically, you will end up with a haircut shape up or an edge up. What they do is they tattoo small dots that look like hair follicles in the areas where you have lost your hair, and then blend it with your existing hair. You can even choose what type of hairline you want, hard shape up or soft and natural finish. And to maintain it, all you gotta do is shave your hair every few days, which is something you already were probably doing anyway. So if you wanna get this hookup for my brothers out there in the UK and Europe, make sure you check out the Scalp This on Instagram. And for my brothers out there in the States, make sure you go ahead and contact my man Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. And when you go on their pages, you can see for yourself what these guys look like before. I mean, these guys are literally hair magicians. I've never seen anything like this before, but all I can tell you guys is this a serious game changer for us men. So make sure you get in contact with Scalp This and Scalp Carolinas on Instagram. You know, I always say on this channel, pay-per-view fights should actually be free. And now the day has come where I'm about to hook you up with an app where you can watch all your pay-per-view events, boxing, UFC, etc. for free. I want to introduce Block TV, the best internet streaming television app out there. They provide over 3,600 channels, including HBO, Cinemax, Showtime, and Stars. They have a massive video on demand library with over 40,000 of the new release movies and the latest TV series. And it also includes DVR. So you're getting all of this for $34.99 a month. And once again, that includes free pay-per-view. So this one right here is a no-brainer, guys, because back in Las Vegas, I was paying damn near $200 a month for my cable. Those days are long gone now. So to get the app, make sure you guys go over to getblocktv.com and put in my promo code and get 30% off your first month. You also get a free month for every friend you refer. The promo code is DBNation.